Hello, it's Amy with Just a Little Ink. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I love sharing fun card ideas that I've come up with. I've been a demonstrator now for over 20 years, and it's been quite the journey. Um, Seen lots of changes within the stamping world as well as with Stampin' Up, but it's still been a wonderful company to be a part of. I've met so many fun friends, had great experiences, and I still will tell you that this is the best products I have found pretty much anywhere. So I'd love to talk with you any more about whether or not that's becoming a demonstrator or whether that's just starting to purchase through Stampin' Up, a great company that's been around for a long time. So today I'm going to share a card that's using the Warm Welcome bundle. This again is a stamp set and die set that can be purchased together at a 10% discount when you do. It will be available in our upcoming January to June mini catalog, but it's been released a little early in light of our World Card Making Day online event that will be happening on October the 1st. And so you can get it early, and it is a fun stamp set that I think I've just scratched the surface at. Today's card that I'm going to share with you is a Gatefold card. And so I'm going to kind of talk through what I'm using first, and then we'll get busy putting it together. I'm using some Calypso Coral. This is cut at 4.5, 4.25 by 5.5. Then I have a piece of our Pale Papaya. They coordinate really nicely together. This one is cut at 4 inches by 10.5 inches. And then we're going to do a couple scores. I haven't done them yet at 2 5/8 and 7 7/8. You're also going to want a couple little pieces of basic white. One for the inside, this at 3 3/4 inch by 5, as well as a scrap piece that's 2 inches by 1 inch, thereabouts, and a couple other pieces. Some basic gray. I cut this piece at about 3 3/4 inch by, I went higher than this. So you need two pieces that are 3 3/4 inch by 1 3/4 inch in order to cut out some doors. We're going to cut this door out. And then a couple pieces of scrap. This is some of our smoky slate, and then a piece of basic gray. And I'm cutting out a doorknob, so I put a piece of our adhesive sheet on the back of that. Let me get this out of the way. You see all the different dies that coordinate with this beautiful stamp set. So, and you can get any of these items on my Stampin' Up website, justalittleink.stampinup.net, any time of the day. And feel free to ask questions. You can always send me an email. But you also can find all these measurements on my blog, justalittleink.com. So I'm going to pull out my trusty Stampin' trimmer. I'm going to use this score blade. So I'm going to line it up along that 10.5 inch side, and I'm going to need my arm out. So it pulls out so that I get a full 12 inches. Line it up in such a way that you can see. So I'm going to, along this long 10.5 inch side, I want to put this end at 2, well, actually, yeah, I think I want to do it this way, 2 5/8. So here's 2 1/4, 2 1/2, and one not little, well, it's actually a couple little notches over is 2 5/8. Put it on here. Don't want the dark blade, that will cut. Want to use this lighter colored blade. Back and forth just a few times, and then I'm going to scoot this down to 7 7/8 inch, just a little before the 8. Again, the lighter colored will give me a score here. So then I'm going to move this, fold my blade in, and get that out of the way. So you always want to fold in from the bump that's facing you. So what you feel is the little bump. So I'm going to fold it in, and this is going to make our gate fold. Turn, kind of opposite of what oftentimes we do with a card, because oftentimes this piece that we're folding is the card base, and in this way, it's sort of not. So my card base is actually this piece of Calypso Coral. So I'm going to take my Stampin' Seal, put it along here. I want enough of it since I've got a little motion going to go on. I'm going to lay this on the center of my card base. Line up, over, so, right there. There we go. This I'm going to hold for the inside. I've already trimmed all these other pieces, so I'm going to pull these out of the way. So I have already, just to be prepared, I've got my 2 doors. I have my door knocker, and then I have my plate, my door plate, and I'm going to do a little stamping on these 2 small pieces. So what I want my, let me set this kind of out of the way. I'm going to get out my Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and I'm going to stamp on it. I have the little stamp that says "Miss You." Ink that up and get in your face just a little. You may see my head. I hope not. Get in here just enough. How well did I do? Not bad at all. So I've got the "Miss You." And then I want on this piece, there's 2 hands, 2 arms actually, that are holding either coffee or tea. And actually, I think one's holding coffee and one is probably holding tea. One's got a tea bag hanging in it. So like so. Actually, I think that's a little juicy on that side. I'm going to try it on the other side. Let's see how we do here. I'm going to have a little less heavy of a hand as I ink it here. Am I happier with this side? Yes. So sometimes I got to redo it. 2 sides of paper. So I'm using my Stampin' blends. I'm going to pull out, grab what I'm doing here. So I'm using Pale Papaya. That's this color here. And I'm going to go offset every other one. You've seen another video I've done. I kind of did the same thing. I'm going to come in just a little here. Here. Okay. And then I'm going to use some of our Bashful Blue? Balmy Blue. We've had a Bashful Blue once upon a time. Okay. It's going to go every other one here. And I'm going to do the light. All of our Stampin' blends come in sets of 2, a light and a dark. Okay, then I'm going to color my mugs. I'm going to do one in a dark, is this dark? No, this is light smoky slate. Super quick. These are quick to color. For those who don't care to do coloring, this goes really pretty fast. So it's not time intensive by any means. I'm going to leave that little tag white. Get my handle there. And then I don't want my hands to stay white, so I'm going to use again from the light combo of the flesh tones. They're found a little further into our catalog, but you can kind of just search under light combo and you should find them. So I'm going to pull out my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I want to cut these 2 little boogers out. Well, they're not 2 yet. Right now they're 1. And again, I'm going to use some of our washi tape. Some of the, well, this isn't even ours, I don't think. Some retired washi just helps me to kind of keep my dies set. And so I'm going to set all of this stuff out of the way just so I don't lose anything. Pull it out, grab my plates. I need my number 1 and I need my 2 cutting plates. I'll lay it on top. Leave a little bit of an overlap between my top plate and my second plate. Then I'm going to run it through. Ever since I started giving that little bit of an overlap, it always runs through. I don't have an issue at all with any of that. So let me grab this here. Let's hope we are the way we want to be. I'm going to close this little booger up. Get out of the way. I'll pop out my die. Yeah, it's off a little bit, but it'll be fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to put my doors together first. Got one more thing to stamp before we're done. So I'm going to do my doors first. I'm going to put one of them, I'm going to use here, and I'm going to use my poke part of my Take Your Pick tool. You get a couple different options with our Take Your Pick tool. Get the poker part. Well, I tell you that, and then it's going to be not cooperating. I think if I come up here, I can grab the edge. There we go. Just found it to be the easiest way to get that off. So I'm going to come this way, line up my knocker right in the center of my door. These are two different people's houses. These aren't one house. So I don't want my doors to look the same. I'm just going to take a little bit of my Stampin' Seal across the center of this one, and I'm going to put this on my nameplate. This would be where you'd maybe put your numbers for your address, but we're putting Miss You on there. And then I'm going to pull out again my liquid glue, my multi-purpose liquid glue, give a little bit on the back sides of both of these. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing. You're thinking, what in the world are you doing? Okay. I want to do this first. That's kind of my little hint. So this is what I found worked the best. I'm going to set this here. I've got just a minute or two before that dries. So I'm going to line this up in the center. And I want it to come in between both of them. So, like so. And then I want to grab my paper snips and snip right between. And then I can trim up anything I might want to do between here. So I think I'd like to trim up just a little more on this particular one, but that helps me line it up. So I'm going to come in and trim just a little more. There we go. Press it down, and then I can take my doors, lay my doors on top. And I want an equal kind of up and down. Make sure it's straight. And then come on this side, do the same thing over here. And come in with the same amount up and down, about the same amount on this edge. So I've got two here. Then you notice how they come together. So then I've got my inside, and I've got one greeting. It's a real simple card, really. I'm going to take again, and I'm using the one that says, let's spend time together. And I'm going to ink it up right in the center here. Give me a cute card to send a friend. And even if you can't be in person, because that's me right now with a lot of my friends, you can meet online and have each of you get your own drink and have a chat over Zoom. Could do it off of FaceTime. Still a way to meet and get together. So even if you're miles apart. So like so. There you go. And then you've got a Gatefold card to send to someone special. Thanks again for joining me. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a great